Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Cravaack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to the United States Coast Guard for all the men and women and all the sacrifices that you do on a daily basis that none of us really know about. So thank you to the sailors and airmen of the Coast Guard. Admiral Carrier, if you don't mind, sir, in regards to the Coast Guard Authorization Act, you stated in your testimony that the Coast Guard initiated action of all 137 provisions of the Act which service is responsible. Prior to 2010, the Authorization Act of all licensed mariners would require a TWIC card, and Section 809 of the 2010 Coast Guard Authorization Act now requires that only mariners who are allowed in secure spaces, unescorted access to secure area of a vessel to obtain a TWIC. And thank you very much for that. That was great foresight. Has Section 809 been fully implemented?
Sir, it's not fully implemented, but we are working as rapidly as possible to fully implement that. We clearly understand the intent of the law. We are trying to work with our Department on some harmonization of capturing biometric information, which we need for the license, not necessarily for the security background check, but for safety and suitability, which is a separate requirement for the license. Previously, the TWIC satisfied that function, so we have to separate that out somehow. So we have a plan ahead, which we are working the details with the Department on how to do that and make it as simple and as painless as possible for the individual mariner.
Appreciate that. And as Chairman Lombando said, that you have great friends here, and we want to help you, assist you in your mission. So we'll help you any way we can in that aspect, and also get the needs of our individual districts met as well. Admiral, also, since we're on the same page here, being a naval aviator, one of the things I'm concerned about in the last, since 2008, we've had 15 operational casualties in the Coast Guard. Many of those were due to aviation accidents. And, sir, I see you have a set of wings on your chest there, so I'm sure it's near and dear to your heart as well. What do you believe is the cause for this unusually high number of casualties over the past 2 years? And what are you doing to address the problem? I have a feeling I know the answer, but I just want to make sure.
Sir, we'll both take a stab at that because we both own part of that problem. Sir, that was of great concern to the Coast Guard, to the Commandant personally, and to all of the senior leadership of the Coast Guard. And Admiral Carrier and I, in our respective roles, chartered a study to examine the reasons why. We call it the Aviation Safety Assessment Study, and it was a multifaceted look, not only questioning our own workforce, but also benchmarking against external organizations on their safety programs. And what we found is there was some issues with rate of change, cockpit configuration changes in a fairly short period of time, the addition of new missions, the expectation that pilots had to know more than maybe had been the case in the past, and quite honestly, some complacency. This was a joint effort between our two organizations, but as you point out, Admiral Carrier is a senior aviator in the Coast Guard, so I'd like to maybe ask him to comment on this as well.
What did you fly, sir? I'm sorry I don't have a background on you.
I've bought everything we have except for C-130s. Unfortunately, now I'm flying a desk, but I do keep the ball.
I feel your pain, sir.
Sir, thanks for that question. When we looked at 7 Class A mishaps that unfortunately we lost 14 people in about a 30-month period, we have a very sophisticated system of analysis, mishap analysis, as you as a naval aviator are well familiar. What cooks out of an analysis like that are causal or contributing factors. Those are the 2 things we look for. When we scrubbed these 7 mishaps, we found no intersection. So statistically, one could say it's not enough of an anomaly to say it's significant, but we certainly thought it was significant, losing 14 people. What we were able to do is put together a multidimensional study of which we took personal ownership, and we surveyed our entire workforce, and we came up with about 5 environmental factors that contributed to a degradation in the safety posture of the Coast Guard aviation. I personally have visited about half of the air stations, and another senior aviator has visited the other half, to have a sit-down across the table eyeball-to-eyeball talk with our aviators, and I think it's been very successful to date. We've looked introspectively, identified some areas we need to improve, and aggressively gotten after them. I think this is a success story as well, sir.
Thank you very much once again what you do. And Chairman, there will be a second round, sir? Okay. Thank you very much, sir, and I yield back.
We'll now turn to the gentleman from